Assalamu alaikum. How are you? This is our 17th lecture. We are studying essential and non-essential parts of a letter. In the last lecture, we studied essential parts as well as non-essential parts. I think that if you pick up any letter now, you can easily recognize that where is the heading, where is the date, where is the inside address, where is the salutation, from where the body starts, where is the complementary clause, where is the signature area, the reference section, enclosure, etc. Similarly, you must be now well versed with non-essential parts. Non-essential parts, your attention line. I mean, you want your communication to reach a certain person. So, you write this attention line, 2 spaces below the inside address and between salutation. So, sometimes you include this and sometimes you don't. Then you have a subject line. Subject line is included in a letter to tell the reader in a glance that what is this about, what the letter is about. It is written 2 spaces below the salutation. Similarly, sometimes we send some material along with the main message, with the letter. So, sometimes it is simply enclosed. Maybe it is a pamphlet, maybe it's a price list or a small booklet. So, it is mentioned in the letter that this letter carries some enclosures. Sometimes something is attached to it, so we need to give attached notation. These things are stapled, right? So, then sometime we mailing notation. We want to send our messages to somebody other than the main addressee. Maybe it is one or maybe they are more than one. So, we write C, copy, CC, carbon copy, CP, PC, photocopy, etc. So, all these essential as well as non-essential parts are laid out on a page. And the size of the page is, in most of the situations, in width it's 8.5 and in length it is 11 inch. Rarely it is used 8.5 in width and 14 inches, especially for legal purposes. So, now we have these essential and non-essential parts and we have to set these parts. These parts are differently set on the piece of the paper. In nowadays, this setting is very easy because of the default on the word processing programs. Easily a composer, a typist can adjust things. But even then, these adjustments go to the certain convention of the organization. Different organizations set their communications in different way. Normally, we have 3 layouts in use in our country. They are named because of their certain. Number 1 is modified block form, or it's also called block form. Number 2 is semi-block form, and number 3 is full block form. Let's today discuss that how do we set different essential parts in these layout. Let's take first the modified block form. In modified block form, we set different parts in a certain way. If we are using a letterhead, obviously we do not need to write anything about ourselves as writer, because the name of our organization, our address, telephone number, nowadays our email address, and all that information which is required is there on this printed part of the letter. Normally this occupies 2 inches at the top of the paper. So after that we write date. In many printed letterheads there is space also given for date and also for reference number, but in some letterhead we have to write date. Date is written 2 to 6 spaces below the letterhead stationery. If suppose we are using a plain paper, what are we going to do? We are leaving 2 inches space at the top of the paper, and then we are starting our heading. Heading does not include the name of the writer. It gives the address of the writer and his address, street number, city number, and in some cases country's name. After heading 2 spaces below we write date, and we discuss how date is written. Date must be written in full, and we should not write dates in figure, as we discussed that there are 2 convention of writing dates in figure. One is American and other is British, and it can cause problem because American start writing date in figures from month and the British start from day, so it can cause confusion. So we should write the name of the month, then date before or after it, and then we write the year in figure. After this date we write inside address and salutation, then body, then complimentary clause and signature. I was talking about one layout, and that is semi-blocked form. In semi-block form, the heading is written or started from the horizontal center of the page. I mean, take one page and we start from the center of the page towards the right hand margin, and normally the address ends, each line of the address ends at the right hand margin. So we start from the horizontal center of the page, almost or a little away from the center towards the right hand margin, and single space is given in heading if we are writing heading, right? And heading is blocked, not indented. This is very important, that nowadays heading or inside addresses are not indented, they are blocked. So in semi-blocked form the heading is blocked. Then comes date, and then date comes under the heading on the same right side of the page, and then comes the inside address. Inside address comes to the left side of the page, towards the left margin of the page. Again, this part is not indented, it is blocked. After this we write salutation, and salutation is blocked with it in an alignment, and then comes the body of the letter. The lines of the body of the letter are not indented, they are blocked. Single space is given and then double space is given in the 2 paragraphs. Then comes the complimentary clause. Complimentary clause is also written at the horizontal center of the page under the heading where we started, heading, and towards the right hand margin of the page, and then we give 4 spaces for signature area, and then the name of the person signing with courteous title or with the official position is written, and then on the left side of the page we write reference line, reference section or enclosure. So this is the layout which is called semi-blocked form. Let's have a look at this layout. So let's see that how heading, date, complementary clause and signature area are written towards the right side, and how inside address and salutation are written on the left side margin. So just look at this. You can see heading is toward the right hand margin, date is toward the right hand margin, and then inside address is toward the left hand margin, salutation is toward the left hand margin. Then comes body. You can see that the lines of the body are blocked, right? They are not indented. They are single space and double space given between the paragraph. And then we have complementary clause and signature area. They are also toward the right hand margin, complementary clause as well as signature area. Reference initials are only on the left hand margin. So this is a semi-blocked form. This is a time saver because no indenting is made in this, and this is in vogue in Pakistan. Beside this modified block form, we have full block form. Full block form is another layout which is also very time saver. In this layout, all the parts of the letter, all the essential and non-essential parts of the letter are started from the left hand margin. So we start from the heading, that is at the top. If we are not using any letterhead, then comes date, double space below it, then comes inside address, double space below it, then comes salutation, double space below it, then body starts and the lines of the paragraphs are blocked. Then we have complementary clause, we have signature area, reference section, enclosure, and so and so. So in this layout we have ease. This layout is very common in multinational organizations and all those organizations that are being run on modern lines. So this is another layout. In this layout, normally we use open punctuation. In modified block form, we use close punctuation. What is this close punctuation and open punctuation? Open punctuation means that no line of the heading and no line of the inside address is punctuated. No comma is put, no full stop is put, because it gives ease to the composer, to the typist, that they don't have to put comma, full stop or other punctuation marks that shows the end of a line. Similarly, no comma is put in the after the salutation and complementary clause in open punctuation form. In close punctuation form, each and every line of the inside address and of the heading is punctuated. If you look at the heading of this modified block form, you see that the heading is punctuated. Public Bank, comma, Ferdi, comma, the Mall, comma, Lahore. So the name of the organization has a comma in the end, name of the city has a comma in the end, and name of the street or locality has a comma in the end, and the city has a full stop in the end, right? Similarly, if you look at the inside address, we have again punctuation at the end of each line, and a full stop is put at the end of the last line that shows the either city or the country. And there comes a comma after the salutation and a comma after the complementary clause. When you are using close punctuation, you can use colon after salutation and as well as after complementary clause. But normally in Pakistan we put a comma after salutation and after complementary clause. So we were discussing the full block. So the full block form is very easy. It's very easy because every part of the letter has to be typed from at the left hand margin, and it is very easy for the typist to compose such a message. After that we have a third type of a layout, and that is semi-block. Semi-block layout is quite close to the modified block form, because in semi-block 2 the heading comes on the right hand margin, towards the right hand margin, and then comes date and the complementary clause and the signature area. All these parts are started from the horizontal center of the page and taken towards the right hand margin, whereas inside address, salutation comes towards the left hand margin, and the paragraphs are indented. The first line of each paragraph is indented. So this indenting gives beauty to this format, to this layout. So semi-block is very much in vogue in Pakistan, because this format is easier to handle. Normally our governmental institution and organization use this format. It is quite impressive, right? In this we use close punctuation. It means that the heading and inside address, salutation and complementary clause are punctuated. Each line of heading is punctuated, as we just saw that each line is ended with a comma, and the last line of heading or inside address has a full stop after the city name or the country name or whatsoever. So we use close punctuation with this. There is another type of punctuation, and that is standard punctuation. Sometimes this is also used. In standard punctuation, only the complementary clause and salutation are punctuated. A comma is put after salutation and a comma is put after complementary clause, whereas no punctuation is given to inside address and heading. So this is in between the open punctuation and close punctuation. Remember that whichever layout you may use, but you have to take care of all these punctuation aspect of the layout. That in semi-block we use close punctuation, in the full block we use open punctuation, and sometimes we use standard punctuation. This convention of punctuation again is subject to the convention of the organization that you are working in. Sometimes we find certain letters in which we find that certain deviations have been made. For example, you may find a letter, we have talked about the subject line. We said that subject line comes after the salutation, and it is in between the body of the letter and salutation. But sometimes you may find that subject line is written over the salutation. So these are again because of the convention of a certain organization, and you have to conform to it, to the convention of your organization. You go to an organization and see that how different parts are laid out on the paper when you are corresponding with your through letters. So these are 3 layouts. Beside this, we have another layout, that is AMS, Administrative Management Society. It has been in use since 1950. AMS is simple style. It uses full block form and open punctuation. No salutation or commentary clause is used. The reader's name is used in the first and last sentence. Subject and writer's name are typed in capital. This is rarely used in Pakistan. This is in use in America and other Western countries. So these are different layouts of letters, and you can pick up or choose any one you like. Beside letters, we also communicate through different forms. I mean, through different forms of written communication. As we said, they can be letters, they can be reports, they also include memorandum. Memorandum is normally used within organization. So if it is used, this messages are sent within organization, so they don't need any heading or anything. The convention to write memorandum are again subject to the style or liking of an organization. Normally, a plain paper is used for it, though there are printed form as well, in which all the things are written, all the parts are written, but sometimes a plain paper is used. Memo has fewer essential parts than the letter. It has a heading, it has a body, and it can have a reference section, enclosures, and copy notation, etc. But its heading section is different. Here we don't have to write the address of the person writing, and here we don't have to write the address of the person reading or our address of our addressee, and we only include few parts in this in the heading of a memo. So far as the body is concerned, it's just like a letter. It has a purpose, it has an explanation, it has a conclusion. So far as its organizational plans are concerned, again it's like a letter. We can choose direct approach to write memos, we can use indirect to write memos, and we will be discussing when we will writing these plans and discussing memo writing differently. Here we are only concerned with the format of the memorandum. So if you are picking up a plain paper to write memo, so far as the size of the paper is concerned, again it is of the same size. That is that we have an 8.5 inch in width and 11 inch in length, because it helps us in filing. So because memos have to be for reference, so they are filed with letters, so if they are of the same size, it is easier to keep them for future references. So the margin of the memo are like letters, there are 1 inch margin is given on both sides of the memo. Normally nowadays the word processing programs give us this facility to make such setting by default in our computers and in our electronic typewriter. So 1 inch left hand margin is given and 1 inch right hand margin is given, and again 2 inch 1 or 2 inch margin is given from the top of the page. So after that we start our heading. This heading is written in different way. For example, we can start it from Memo 2. This Memo 2 is written in capital. So Memo 2 is written in capital, and after this Memo 2 we write a colon. A colon is given, the punctuation mark is colon. So after that we write the name of the person or the name of our, right? So this name is written both in capital and lowercase. After that, double space below this Memo 2 we write from. It shows the person writing. So again after that from we give a colon. This from is also written in capital. No lowercase is used. It's written in capitals, and then there comes the name, and this name again can be capital and lowercase. So far as the Memo 2 is concerned, normally we do not use courteous title like Mr., Mrs., Ms., etc. However, do we use organizational title? So far as the form is concerned, only the name is given. Obviously, no need to give any courteous title, or to maybe organizational title are necessary. Then comes double space below the form section, the date. Again, the word date is capitalized, and a punctuation mark, that is colon, is written after it. The convention to write date is the same as we have in letter writing. The name of the month is written in full. No date is expressed in figures. So the punctuation is the same. And then comes the subject. Subject is also capitalized, and then a colon is given after it and the subject. Remember that subject is just like the subject line of the letter. Normally some phrase is written, this is not a complete sentence, and no punctuation mark is written after it. I mean, we don't write any period or we write any full stop at the end of the subject. It is normally a phrase that helps us in understanding the main message of the letter, and after that it helps us in filing and other purposes. After the subject we start our message. This message is written 2 to 3 spaces below the subject. So main message normally, like letter, depends on the purpose. So the purpose comes in the beginning, then comes the main message, and then comes the conclusion. It depends that what we want to convey. So the main subject of the body can be of 3 to 4 lines, or it can be of 3 to 3 paragraphs. Then comes the reference section. We don't have any complementary close in memos. We have reference section. In reference section we write in initials the name of the person composing or typing, and then comes the enclosure. Again, like letters, enclosures, anything being sent with the memo, any booklet, any pamphlet, any other photocopy, and if there is some attachment to it, this shows that something is stapled with it, and then comes again any carbon copy, any CC that is being that means that more than one copy of the memo is being typed and they are being sent to other person. Like letters, memo can also have another second page or third page. If a memo goes to a second page, on the left hand at the top we write to only, for example, the name of the person, to, and then in the center of the page number is given like 2, and towards the right hand we write date, the way we wrote the date on the first page. So this is how a memo is written. Normally memos are not signed the way they are, letters are signed. The only thing is done is that initials are made after the from part of the heading. So initials of the person are given. But in some cases the memos are also signed, and when they are signed the name is written 4 spaces below in the center of the page, horizontal center of the page, and between the last line of the message and the name of the person signing, the signatures is done, and this is done in 4 spaces. Remember that if your memo exceed 1 page, you don't have to write 1 line in the last paragraph and then the second line on the next paragraph. Always try that you at least write 2 lines on the previous page and 2 lines on the next page. So if you leave 1 line in the previous page or write 1 line on the next page, this gives a bad impression. Sometimes we write memo to more than 1 person. So in that case, after the reference section the name of the person are given. Sometimes in heading we include department. The person writing the memo wants to tell his department, and he also wants to include the department of the person receiving the message, the addressee of the message. So the word department is written under to, and the word department is written under from. Sometimes we also include the floor number, the telephone number, and the extension number. So these can be set into this heading area of a memo. So this is how memo is written. We are talking about the memo which is written on a plain paper, right? So there is no need to write the word memorandum at the top of the page. In some cases, as we'll just see some format in which it is written, but we don't need to write because we have written memo to. So this memo to serves the purpose of writing the full word memorandum. So this can save us time. It's a time saver device. Memos are preferred over oral messages. They are in-house organizational correspondence, used for in-house organizational correspondence, and they save time. They are better than oral messages. They are written proof for any communication that has taken place between 2 people, between 2 departments. So memos are used quite excessively in organization. But in many organizations, some printed form is also used instead of using a plain paper, and the setting is made about different parts of this memo in the word processing program or on electronic typewriter. So If you look at this memo is different from that one which we've been discussing so far. So we find that at the top of the page the word memorandum is written. This is written 2 inches below the top of the page. We have again left hand margin and right hand margin, as we discussed. These are, we leave 1 inch on left hand and 1 inch on the right hand. So the word memorandum is written, and then comes the heading part of the memo. In heading part of the memo, if you look at this, we had date at the top, and then we have under the date double space below 2 section, and then department, and then subject. And on the right side of the page we can write company name, we have firm, and then telephone number. If you look at this, these are in lower case. I mean, that is, that date is, the first letter of the date is capital, and then the rest of the letters of the word date are in lowercase. Similarly to department, subject, firm, and telephone number. This can be very helpful in different ways. It can save our time. So we have another format of memo. If you look at this format, this gives you the name of the company. I mean, this is a letterhead type of a memo. The letterhead is printed over the page. So intro office communication, this is written almost in the middle, starting from the horizontal center of the page toward the right hand margin. On the left we have the name of the company. Then we have 2 headings, start from 2, a line is given, and then plant, department, or whatever, and under 2 we have firm, and then again towards plant, department, then we have subject and date, and then we have written the word message, and after the word message we have given few lines. So this can help the person writing the memo to write without wasting. These are normally printed formats, and anybody who wants to send any message, any memo, so he can simply fill in the blanks and write the message. You can see that at the bottom of the page there is a line for signature. So the word signed is written at the bottom of this memorandum. This is another format or layout of memorandum. So it varies from company to company that how they use. There are different types of formats, layout for letters for memorandum that are being used by different companies. In some printed material for memorandum, we also have a reply part in it. That is, that one part is for writing message and other part is used for the reply. So it helps, it simply speed up the process of bringing the answer or reply back to the person writing the message. So if you look at this, you see that the word reply is written and then few lines are drawn so that a reply could be written, and similarly the reply has a date and a signature area. So it makes sure that the date of the communication is written and the person who has written this message has signed the memo. So these are different convention of writing memos. So in these 2 lectures, the previous one and the present one, we have discussed the appearance and design of a business message. We have discussed the stationery aspect of a business letter or business messages, that what type of stationery we must use, the type of the paper that is good to use, the different parts of letters and different parts of memorandum that are laid out in the communication. So let's have a recap of all these things. First of all, discuss that there are some essential parts of a business message and some non-essential parts of a business message. So far as the business message, so far as the paper is concerned, if it is printed, I mean giving the name of the organization, giving the address of the organization, at the top of the paper we call it a letterhead, and letterhead, in case of a letterhead, there is no need to write the heading, the name, the address of the writer, and then we have date, and then we have inside address, salutation, body, complimentary clause, signature, and reference section. These are almost 8 parts which are essential for any letter, and in almost all letters these parts are found. So far as the setting of these parts is concerned, these parts can be set in different way. We have different formats or layout for them. We have full block. In full block form, all these 8 parts are set at the right hand margin of the page, right? So starting from heading to the reference section, each at the left hand margin. And in this, one thing that is very important, and that is we use open punctuation. No heading, no line of heading, no line of inside the address, no complimentary clause, no salutation is punctuated. Only it doesn't mean that the body of the letter is not punctuated. Remember that sometimes it happens that students confuse this when we are talking about open punctuation or close punctuation. In open punctuation, only the parts over and below the body of the main letter, that is the main message, are not punctuated. So far as the body is concerned, all the sentences are punctuated, and whenever there is a need to punctuate anything within the sentence is punctuated. So remember that open punctuation means that these parts are not punctuated, and in close punctuation, each line of heading and each line of inside address, complimentary clause, and salutation is punctuated. So this is the difference between open punctuation and close punctuation. We talked about another type of punctuation, and that was standard punctuation, in which only complimentary clause and salutation are punctuated, commas are put after it. So one layout is the full block, the other was modified block. In modified block, headings, heading, date, complimentary clause, and signature comes towards the right hand margin, and inside address, salutation comes toward the left hand margin, and the paragraphs are blocked, not indented. The third one was semi-block. In semi-block, the parts are like a modified block, the heading, date, complimentary clause, signature towards the right hand margin, and inside address, salutation towards the left, but only the first line of the paragraphs are indented, right? So remember that there used to be a practice of indenting heading as well as of inside address in the past. I mean, each line of heading and each line of inside address used to be indented. It would go like this. Now this practice is no more. This method of indenting heading and indenting inside address is almost obsolete. It's not in fashion. So remember that in semi-block we use close punctuation, that is all the parts are punctuated. So this was about letters. There was another A, M, S. We talked little about it. It's mostly used in Western countries or in America. We not use in Pakistan. Then we talk about the memo. Memo is inter-office correspondence, too much use, and we use fewer parts in memo. Only heading is used, and then body, and then the rest of the part of a letter. Normally this heading consists of to and from section, the date and the subject parts. Only these parts are found in heading. They all consist of heading. So then we have the body, that is the main message. Then sometime we have signature and sometime we don't have signature. Normally memos are rarely signed, but if they are signed, the signature is made in the middle of the horizontal, the center of the page, 4 spaces below the last line of the letter. And there are certain other conventions, as we have seen. There are certain other format of memo in which department, in which section, floor and telephone number, etc. are given. And sometimes memos are written on plain papers, sometimes they are written on printed forms. The whole matter is given on that printed form, only the messages to be written. And as we have seen, sometimes the word message is also given. And there is another type of memo which also carries its reply section. So first we have a message section, and then we have reply section. And in this type of format of a memo, both sections are signed by the people writing the message and writing the reply. So these are different types of format for writing correspondence, letters and memos. I hope that you must have learned something out of this discussion that we've been doing. And now when you look at letter, go for close punctuation, go for open punctuation or standard punctuation. See which type of the punctuation is present in the letter, and also see other parts, especially look at the formatting of a letter and formatting of a memo, the differences found in. And remember that you don't have to make up your mind that there is only one set pattern for it, for letter as well as for memo. It depends on the convention of your organization. When you get into an organization, you have to look for the practice that is going on into the organization, and whatever is the practice, you have to follow it. So this is all over for today about this topic. We'll see in the next lecture the format and other things about other types of messages. So until then, it's Khuda Hafiz from my side.